on Friday, we started seeing this push. After the Acolyte was canceled, the fans made their petition. The mainstream media tried to defend it. And then ultimately, this was like the big story, of course, from Rolling Stone of all places. Can the best of Star Wars survive the worst of its fans before Star Wars can have another successful show? Some vocal parts of the fandom have to reckon with what they really want out of the franchise. And essentially, in typical Rolling Stone fashion, this is a hit piece on Star Wars fans, calling you racist, calling you bigots, saying these are the people. They're the reason that this show failed. They're the people that Disney's listening to. They're the reason that nobody watched this, because apparently a minority of fans is able to convince the corporation and every other fan what to do. It's very strange how that works. But we saw a lot of other things continue to repeat that. Acolyte's cancellation speaks to how troubled the Star Wars brand is, blaming it once again on fans.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody decided to repost this. Rebecca Henderson. Now, you might not know that name because it's fairly irrelevant, but Rebecca Henderson is the actress who played Master Vernestra, or as Soul would say, or as Soul would say, Master Vernestra.
Vernestra. I feel a correction with you.
Exactly. She is one of the lead actresses in The Acolyte. She decided to post this, shitting all over fans. Also decided to post this tweet. The worst part about The Acolyte being canceled isn't the cancellation itself, but knowing exactly which part of the Star Wars fan base Disney listened to in order to go ahead with this decision. Stop caving to pressure and stand your ground if you've made something bold for once. Just for the record, this is Leslie Headland's wife.
Yeah, the showrunner's wife.
This is.
It is Instagram, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Okay.
Over on Instagram.
Listen, it's not our fault that Disney and Lucasfilm packed up the U-Haul and broke up with Acolyte. Okay, it's not our fault. All right, quit blaming us. It was a bad relationship. It was pretty long considering your average lesbian relationship. It was about 8 weeks, right?
Shit. Yeah, not bad. I mean, better than average, probably.
Yeah, in lesbian years, in lesbian months.
Yeah, in lesbian months, that they're doing that's like the diamond anniversary for them in lesbian years.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, we know where Leslie Headland came from, former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein. Maybe that's what led her. It's just kind of general practice, because of what she learned from Harvey to hire people you're sleeping with. So that's how Rebecca Henderson got this job in the first place. Certainly wasn't for incredible acting ability, at least not displayed in this series. But, I don't know if Leslie Headland actually has any social media that she's put stuff out on. I can't really find it, so I'm not sure. I'm not going to say that just because you're married to somebody that this is their statement, but this is now the wife of the showrunner, also an actress in the show, essentially saying that Star Wars fans are racist and bigots, and that's why this show got canceled. How fucking pathetic.
I know. They just never quit, and it never works. It never works, but that shows that what happens here is you have untalented people coming in, and they thought they could just coast like most, nepotism. Like most, you're not guest starring on a fucking soap. This is Star Wars. This is science fiction. It's got a lot of eyes on it. And they have no fucking idea what they're getting into most of the time. That's why you should usually vet these people and prepare these people for honoring the lore. Maybe read a book, maybe it shouldn't even be suggested. How about, as a professional, I'm taking on something I know nothing about. I should probably read up on it a little bit. And when they get this kind of reaction, it's because they're coached by the marketing departments. And this is what they're told in these fucking little echo chambers at Lucasfilm, which is one of the worst places on the planet right now, and unfixable. And this, yes, of course, you're going to believe it when you're told in your echo chamber that these are all racist fans, except for the, nobody watched it. And the reason nobody watched it is because it betrayed everything about Star Wars. Yeah, they're absolutely lazy. Lucasfilm was lazy in the hiring. They were lazy in the writing, and it was lazy in the execution. And they just leaned back on not even what they thought, what they want to be true, that they're going to find this modern audience, which doesn't exist.
Just a complete and total failure and cope from them. And the good side of the fandom, the nice people, the ones that are supposed to be the Acolyte fans, this is how they've kind of react to this.
So nice.
I'm so sick of Star Wars fans. You all will die and go to hell. Acolyte canceled because of racist fucking misogynist jerks. I'm going to kill all the men on this fucking planet. racist Star Wars fans all gotta die, man. Like no other way around it. Star Wars, at Star Wars, fun fact, I'll kill you if you don't retract the news about the Acolyte. You gave it 1 fucking month.
Fuck you, Disney Plus.
It's so funny, man. Fuck you for canceling the Acolyte. You let the racist and sexist dude bros win and let a beautiful, inclusive show die? Yep. Fuck y'all for real. It's been insane. It's been absolutely insane. And, update on the petition. It's over 44,000 signatures. Congratulations. Wow. My prediction was, it's going to get tens of thousands. I don't know if they can get all the way up to 100,000. I think that might be high for the amount of people that are engaged with the Acolyte as fans. But even if it does get to 100,000, that's not enough to change anything about what the reality is. And the reality is, all the people that are signing this petition, you're the ones that watched. Okay, great. But not enough people watched to make it a successful show.
Yep.
It's not about them appealing to us or to YouTubers, or YouTubers are the ones that did this. Trust me, if that's what they were doing, we wouldn't have got the last 10 years of Disney Star Wars.
Yeah.
They tried to appeal to you. This is what they've been doing for the better part of over a decade. Kathleen Kennedy said, we don't need those older fans anymore. We want a new generation. We want new demographics of people to get interested in Star Wars. We need to expand the fan base. Well, what they really meant by that was contract the fan base by pushing out everyone else and targeting these people. This was targeted towards you. And to your credit, freaks and weirdos, pronouns and bios, I think you showed up. I think you did your job.
Yes.
The unfortunate reality is now crashing down. Just like a man cannot miraculously snap their fingers and become a woman, that your group of fans that you thought was so big and powerful, it's actually very small, insignificant, doesn't matter, and cannot make a show successful.
That comes from that interview. Kathleen Kennedy wanting to move on from the 50-year-olds comes from the interview of the guy who worked on Galaxy's Edge. I'll never forget that. And what stuck out with me, which you should always remember, loyal Star Wars fans, they just assume you're going to be around. Did you hear that? Like, oh, we want to expand the fan base. So you suckers are going to sit around and just lap all this stuff up while we expand the fan base. And instead, what Ryan said, it contracted. Little shrinkage. A lot of assumption, a lot of taking the paying customer for granted. And then when they spoke up, they attacked you. Going to war with your fandom, going to war with the customer never works. Again, like we can just keep saying this. And that's what's been different about this era that we have been covering is a studio would not go to war with their paying customer before. They will now to protect corporation, because this is the drawback of a studio not being solely a studio being a subsidiary of a giant company that does something else, which that's what Disney is. Disney makes movies and stuff, but they're a parks and experience and hotel company. And that's what they are now. That also happens to make shows. Same with Amazon, same with Apple. So they can ignore that to their peril, but they can ignore it. Now, what they won't remember is this will hurt their legacy, and over time they will have diminishing returns. It'll be slow. Disney World is just like this automatic destination for a lot of normie families and stuff, whatever. I would say pay a little more attention, go to Universal. Not that they're a golden company. They own MSNBC, but they don't like attack their fans. Like I would just go somewhere where you don't attack fans, and we'll see where it goes. But Disney is a damaged brand at this point, despite having a couple of wins this summer. Sure has.
They're going to end up with the 2 biggest movies of the year.
By far. And
it's done really not too much to convince people that like the company's worth investing in. Yeah. Like that's the reality. From back in February or whatever, when they had the big shareholders meeting, when the vote for the board happened, and obviously I forget it. Ike Perlmutter and Nelson Peltz made the bid to get him on the board. Didn't work out. The stock has only gone down and down and down because of all the lies they told and the gaslighting they did to pretend like everything's just perfectly fine the way it is. Well, now here you are a couple months removed from that, and your stock has decreased 33%. You're thinking, what the fuck? I voted to keep these guys in, and they're doing the same thing to us over and over and over again.